Good morning. How are you diddling? Excellent. Me too. Thank you very much for asking. Welcome to another episode of Dazed and Confused, my 3 times a week live show where I answer your questions about social media, about video that you send in throughout the broadcast and over the evenings as well on email and stuff like that. So that's what we're here for, to answer all your social media and video questions. I'm Simon Scholes. I'm the founder and creative director of Perception Studios. We're an award-winning visual marketing agency. We're based in the UK, and we help brands and businesses create content that helps them stand out on social media, be it video, animation, graphics, photography, all sorts of different types of stuff. However, a few years ago, it became quite obvious to me, not every brand, not every business has this massive marketing budget that they can spend on having content created on a regular basis. And that's the most important thing when it comes to social media, is consistency. So I sat down, I was like, well, I want to try and help as many people as I possibly can do to create content. So how can I do that? So I came up with a process. I called it How to 9 Times Your Social Media. I turned it into a book. It went to #1 on Amazon. And that's what these live broadcasts are all about, is me just trying to help you get on that content creation journey, making content for your brand, for your business, most importantly, for free. Excuse me, my favorite 4-letter word. So if you want to know how to do that, that's what these broadcasts are all about. That's what the questions can be all about. What help do you need with your social media? What help do you need with your video content? It can be a bit of a sticking point for a lot of people. So just get in touch, whatever platform you're watching on, be it Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram Live, wherever you are. Tell me you're around and I'll answer your questions as best as I possibly can do. Today, we're going to be talking about the fact that it is actually Romance Awareness Month. Did you know that? I didn't, which means they're probably not doing their social media very well. But until I was searching out what's happening this month, and I found Romance Awareness Month, and it was one of the things I thought, well, that's an ideal thing to talk about, because we all know somebody who still puts out social media that is 100% sales driven. They don't give any value. They don't try and romance the audience in any way, shape, or form. And let's be honest, when was the last time you were romanced? Not as a customer, just generally romanced. Do you remember it? It's a nice feeling to be romanced, isn't it? It's a nice feeling to be made to feel special. Exactly. So why on earth, when it comes to social media content and trying to increase the awareness of your brand and your business online on different social media channels, do we feel it is an ideal situation to just walk up to somebody and ask them to marry us? Because you wouldn't do that on the high street, yet we try and sell all the time on social media instantly without trying to build that level of emotional connection. Like I say, you wouldn't do it on the high street, so why would you do it on social media? On the high street, you're more than likely going to get a no because the person doesn't know you. And number 2, we all like to have that level of romancing going on. We like to build that connection with the person. So when they do eventually come to the point where they might ask us to marry them, then it feels right and we know we want to do it. And it's the same when it comes to making a purchase or trying to sell your product. You give them value. You build that emotional connection between you and your audience members. You romance them. And then you drop in the, by the way, would you like to buy what it is that I do? But you don't do that straight away. And it just pisses people off massively. Just so much. In fact, I've got a friend who did a video about this on LinkedIn recently, about the fact that people will dive into your DMs and just try and sell to you straight away. You can't sell. Not straight away. Not without building that level of connection. If, for example, on my mailing list, somebody who reads my newsletter on a regular basis and somebody who watches my content on a regular basis and regularly interacts, and then I say, right, okay, I'm going to drop them an email and see if they'd be interested in my services, there's already been that level of romancing gone on there. But if somebody signs up onto my newsletter list and they've literally just signed up that day and I drop straight in with a sales message, they're more than likely going to hit the unsubscribe button. They're more than likely going to just leave and not give a damn about my brand. In fact, it's probably going to do my brand and my business more harm, because they're likely to go away and tell other people, oh my God, Simon, I signed up to his newsletter and he straight away started selling at me. There's nothing more annoying than that, is there? Exactly. How many of you out there watching right now have got a LinkedIn account? And on that LinkedIn account, you've connected with somebody, and that somebody has instantly, the minute you've pressed connect, sent you a sales message. I still get it now, and it just bamboozles me. I cannot believe anybody gets a good hit rate with that. I can't believe anybody gets business out of it. Yet they still do it. They still send out random connects and then still send out random messages of sales of what it is that they do in the hope that you're going to buy their services. A recent one was an accountant. I can't believe it almost felt personalized as well. So this person had actually thought the best way of trying to get business was to actually contact me directly and sell to me instantly, because their message was talking about stuff in my profile. And I don't know of any software that's intelligent enough to do that. So they'd actually gone out of their way to read my profile, see what it is that I've done in the past, talk to me about it, and then still try and sell to me straight away. There's no connection there. I don't know you from Adam. So you've got to build that level of connection. All the brands that you go into a store to buy, they have built that level of connection in some way, shape, or form. It's not often you will go in somewhere and buy something from a brand that you have no emotional connection with, even if the emotional connection is, oh, I like that. That's really, really nice. I will buy that product. So you have to spend your time on social media giving value, having some patience. Don't expect everything to happen overnight. Don't expect everything to happen right now. And we live in an age where everybody wants instant gratification, and it just doesn't work that way. Instant gratification in numbers on people actually consuming your content. No, it doesn't work that way. You've got to build an audience of people who care about what it is that you've got to say. Instant gratification of being able to sell a product. And if you don't sell something straight away, then obviously it's the platform's fault that it's a load of rubbish and not actually the fact that you're selling. No, wrong. It's you who's got it wrong. Absolutely 100%. Spend your time, if you're looking to build an organic audience who care about what it is that you've got to say, spend your time building an audience of people who care about what it is that you've got to say, who care about the value that you've got to give. Then you have a level of patience waiting for that moment where you say, by the way, this is what I do. You already know that. Would you be interested in the services? And you've got to know how to do that as well. You can't just hammer them hard. You've got to know how to approach them. Do you approach them individually? Do you approach them as a whole? Depends on what you're trying to sell. But hopefully you're going to come away from this particular live realizing, number one, it's Romance Awareness Month. So go off and romance your other half, and also make sure that you spend some time romancing your audience. Don't try and sell to them all the time. Actually give them some value, build that emotional connection between you and them, so that when it comes to you saying, would you like to buy my service? They are more than happy to buy your service because they like you. They've got a connection with you, and then they can see where they're going to get the value. Okay? Brilliant. Hopefully you've got some value from that, whatever platform that you're watching on. And if you have, make sure you give this piece of content a thumbs up. We're going to go into the questions now. If you're watching on any platform whatsoever, make sure you say hello. Put your question into the comments on that platform, and I will do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can do before we come to a close today. It's going to be a shorter broadcast because the weather's gorgeous and I want to go and enjoy it before I go and pick up Max a little bit later. So let's get straight into the questions and see what people are asking. Okay, so CB is asking on Twitter. I posted in Facebook groups and I've got a ton of thank yous. Several people saying they've learned so much from me. I've worked as an online freelancer for 12 years, but how do I reach more people with my free info beyond Facebook groups? You go to other platforms other than Facebook. It's that simple, really. You need, if your audience is on Facebook, have you done an avatar? Yeah, this is the big question. And this is the thing I always seem to have to roll back to. If you know your avatar and you know they're hanging out on Facebook, then absolutely put a majority of your effort into Facebook. But don't forget there are other social media channels out there. Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Byte, Triller, just to name another 8 before we start going even further into it. So you need to start thinking about where your audience is, putting the most effort into that particular channel, and then breaking it down a little bit more and going, okay, I've done some testing. I know that my audience is on Facebook, but also some of the audience is on Pinterest and Instagram. So then you start putting maybe another 10% of each of those onto Pinterest and Instagram. So that takes you up to like 90% if you put 70% effort into Facebook, 90% using those other two, and then the last 10% you put it into all the other channels that are available out there, just posting content. Some of the stuff that you've posted in other places, don't necessarily have to think about creating content specifically for those channels. It's great if you can do, but most of us don't have the time to do that. We don't have the teams to help us to do that. So it's all about just actually communicating. I'm a firm believer of if you're not communicating, nobody can hear the value that you've got to give. So you've got to start thinking about breaking down that level of friction on all these other social media platforms. This is what my whole process is about in my book, How to 9 Times Your Social Media, is that you go from planning to blogging and then create content across all the different platforms, because there's a level of friction for somebody on all the different platforms. If your blog is the best blog in the world, that's fine, but what if I don't want to read it? If your video is the best and most engaging video in the world, that's great, but what if I don't have half an hour to watch it? If your short form videos are really information heavy and just absolutely what I need to be watching, what if I don't like watching videos? What if I don't like scrolling through my social media to consume content on TikTok or Snapchat or Instagram? What if I don't want to listen to a podcast? But if you can cover all of those things, then you are onto a winner, because you're pretty much removing the reason for people to not consume your content. If they like what it is that you do, you're giving them content in every single format: audio, video, visual, written. There is nothing else. So if they can consume your content and they like what you've got to say, then they can consume it in some way. If they're not willing to then consume your content still, then they're not really ready for your message or what it is that you've got to offer. But what I would suggest is start putting content out on other platforms. If you're putting it out on Facebook, just absolutely just take it, lift it, and put it somewhere else. If you haven't got the time to create more content, it doesn't really hurt to put it in other places. Yes, it's not going to be targeted as well as it should be for those particular platforms. I understand that. But if you don't have the teams or the time to do that, we're not all Gary Vaynerchuk, where we can pay for an editor to take out all the swearing so that it suits LinkedIn better than it would suit Facebook or TikTok. We don't all have that ability. So maybe number one, just don't swear in the first place so that you can post it in other places. And if you do, don't worry so much about it, especially if it's in context anyway. Okay, CB, hopefully you've got some value from that. Hopefully that's going to help you start talking to people in other places. There are plenty of other channels to find people. Use the search engines as well on all the other social media platforms. They've all got a search engine available built into them. Go and type in who your ideal client is, and you'll be amazed at who will pop up. Okay, right, one more question, and then I'll go to any questions that come in on the live. If you've got a question right now and you're watching, stick it into the comments, say hello, let me know that you're there. I'll do my best to answer as many of them as I possibly can do. Dobry dzień to Adventure Tour Slovakia, who've just joined us. Great company, and I met them at the travel tourism event a few years ago in London. And my wife's Slovakian, so yeah, I would say they're an awesome company anyway. Okay, right, let's have a look. Jenny has asked the question. I've been watching you on YouTube. I don't have a Facebook account. Should I have one for my business? Yes, is the honest answer to this. And I've covered this a few times on the lives in the past. You have to remove yourself from social media to a point for your business. Because unless you are 100% the brand, your business is going to appreciate you using social media to help build your brand so that people know about you and what it is that you do. The problem with a lot of people is that they will demonize a platform because they just don't like it. I don't like X because of Y. I don't like Facebook because of Mark Zuckerberg. Whatever it might be, you have to remove yourself from that because your business isn't going to care. I said this in the last live, and it's still something I struggle with, which is selling. But your business doesn't care that you don't like selling. My business doesn't care that I don't like selling products and selling to people. I'd much rather just give, and in the hope that eventually they might come back. That might come back to me. But you've got to sell. Your business doesn't care. Your business doesn't care about how you feel about selling. So you have to sell to make money. Otherwise, you have no business. And it's the same with marketing. You have to remove yourself. You have to be on these platforms, whether you like them or not. There are ways of setting up platforms so that you can be hidden, but your business is still visible. That doesn't matter. But you have to have a presence on these platforms because they are there to help you. They are free. Why would you not take advantage of talking to potentially 3.5 billion people for free? Why would you not do that? I cannot think of a reason as to why anybody wouldn't take advantage of a free platform like Twitter, like TikTok, like Snapchat, like YouTube, like Facebook, and so on and so forth. And these platforms give you an opportunity sometimes to actually make money. So YouTube, if you meet their criteria, I think it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch minutes over the year, you can monetize your videos, so you can make some money from it. I'm not saying you're going to make a lot. In fact, there's a chance you might not even hit the threshold to get paid, but you can make money from them. Facebook, 10,000 people following your page and a certain amount of watch time on your videos, that will allow you to monetize your videos. There's so many channels you can make money from. The other day, I've got 1,000 followers on TikTok. In fact, more than that. I did a live TikTok for the first time ever. I don't ask for it, but somebody gave me some payment through their emojis and stuff like that. I get paid for going live on TikTok. And there's a lot of people who do that and make a hell of a lot more than I did. So, yeah, you've got to understand that there's so much possibility out there on all these different platforms. So yeah, don't just work on Facebook, Jenny. Look at what there is available to you elsewhere and start putting some effort into those other places. Like I say, 70-80% effort into that one place, because that's where you're going to get the best return on investment. But then don't forget the other social media channels actually exist, because so many people do. So many people kind of just demonize everything else. It's like, well, I only like that one, so that's the only one I'm going to use. And that might not even be where your audience is, but you're still just going to use that one. That's a bit daft, isn't it? Okay, right. I've answered your questions. There's no other new questions have popped in, which is fine by me because I'm going to go and enjoy the sunshine. Thank you so much for watching, as always. If you're brand new to these live broadcasts, that's absolutely cool. Please do hit the subscribe button on whatever platform that you're watching on. If you're on Periscope, go and follow me on Twitter. If you're on YouTube, subscribe. Facebook, come and follow the groups. If you are watching on Instagram Live and you just stumbled across my live, whatever, just come and follow me on Instagram. There's hints and tips on across all my different platforms every single day to try and help you keep growing your audience, keep growing your brand, and most importantly, doing it for free rather than paying an agency a handsome amount of cash to do it for you. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you are watching on the podcast, so you'll be listening on the podcast, don't forget you can drop me an email. My link is in the section below, and you can drop me an email with your questions on for the next live broadcast. And if you're watching on the lives right now, my email address is scrolling across the bottom, so you can go and type that in, or again, go into the description box and you can drop me an email there, and we can try and answer your question on the next live, which will be on Friday, around about 11 o'clock-ish. So thanks for watching. Until then, though, take care, stay safe still in these crazy times, and I will see you on Friday. Have a good one.